In this video showing what the Big Nobby Bush Care group has achieved on the headland just south of Crescent Head called Big Nobby, we'll walk up and look at the area that's been least worked and requires the most work to be done, see the work that contractors have done with recent grant money we were able to use, and take a look at some new weeds, but also see that there's some good things up there as well that give us heart that we can win the battle against the weeds. So I'm now back at the top tee of the Crescent Head Golf Course, little Nobby in the background. I'm going to walk up through Zone C to look at what the people of the Big Nobby Bush Care group and the grant contractors that we got to use up some grant money have been doing. So I've come up the small step. There's the Tuckaroo Grove we saw in the previous video. If we look across here, we've got an area with giant Parramatta grass. Needs a bit of attention, but we'll move on up the hill and see what we've got. Just across here, little casuarinas. Not so healthy looking banks here. Got a bit more of the asparagus weed we've seen before, but here's a new one. It's known in this area. It's called moth vine. You'll get a choco looking pod and put out a million seeds. There's another little outbreak here. And it looks like the monkey rope vine, Parsonsia stramenea, but it's got that little indent where the stem meets the leaf. And that's the easy way to tell these two apart. So I have to dig this one out before it gets any seed pods. Move on up and we've got a nice Dianella here. Flax lily that gets the blue bead-like, well, purple blue bead-like seeds on it. Down to the native raspberry that we saw in a previous video. We've got a healthy lily pilly here with a bit of guinea grass in it. Now, if we move on further, we'll be able to see some of this guinea grass has been poisoned by the contractors, I hope. Little casuarinas here. Here we have a little vine. It's called wombat berry. It's a native, Eustrephus latifolius, and good to see it. Enormous amount of basket grass here. More Dianella. We've got a pittosporum or potosterum tree here. And here where the contractors and the Big Nobby group have been doing a bit of hand weeding. Down there you can see some of the guinea grass they've poisoned. As we look up the slope, you can see quite bare areas. Here we have little bits of fleabane, leaves of blue billygoat weed, and once again this is a big blue billygoat weed area, and people have been working assiduously to get rid of it. Down here we've got the spade flower again, the native, good to have. We've got the native violet there and there. Here's its leaf. Amongst this though, we've got a plant called Morning Glory, an ipomia that has lovely mauve flowers, but it will have runners that go through all this grass and its roots could be metres away. Incidentally, this is a great patch of native violet. Another pittosporum. native commelina that we've seen before, more raspberry. And as in the previous video, this plant has its leaves opposite each other in that rounded fashion, so that's a little centre that I'll just pull out and discard on the ground. Moving on up, see a lot of tuckaroos. Remnants of guinea grass. This is a huge bare patch that's weeds are going to come back into, and our group will be able to come in and get them quite easily. Lots of themata here, the kangaroo grass that we're trying to encourage back. Odd, whatever this is. That purple root down the bottom tells me that's a small paspalum. Here we got a tri-leaved creeper, which is Desmodium, another native. And there's a few little grasses in here that we need to examine to see whether they're guinea grass or native blady grass. Over here is that patch of monkey rope that we saw in the previous video. And this area has some grasses, some weeds. Themata over here. Then we get into blady grass. Here's the seeds of the blady grass coming out and being blown around. So hopefully they'll occupy the area. Keep moving up. See the pink ribbons here, that marks out where the asset protection zone for the houses in Dalkinguy Street are. So this area is being worked both by the RFS and by us to reduce the hazard to houses. The themata over there. They've poisoned blue billy goat weed here. And over there is the area of Zone B, which I was in the previous video. If I go over here, find this other plant, creeper, which is Wollastonia uniflora. And that's starting to cover a lot of the area. There's its flower. I think that was in the first video of Zone A. But back here a couple of nuisances. I think this is, yes, that's the Cape Gooseberry, and a bit of fleabane here, which I can take out and just leave on the ground. A lot of bare patches, so we'll be coming back through and making sure that the weeds that start to grow in this area get taken out. There's some morning glory. Climbing up a tree. Try and find where it goes down. Here's its root here. I'm just going to strip that one, so this bit will die then. To be thorough, I should have traced that vine back to where it goes in the ground. So that'll knock it back a little bit. Moving up with basket grass. Some hand weeding that's been done of guinea grass. A few little fleabanes here I could just pull out on the way. Giant Parramatta grass here we need to attend to. Makes a great mulch. And we've got farmers' friends here, but a bit of commelina as well. So we'll try and help the commelina win the fight against two
takes over this area. Moving up, evidence of more hand weeding. Bit of verbena here, mentioned before, and we'll have to come back and get that. And get an area of blady grass. More verbena popping up. Giant Parramatta grass there. Then see Farmers Friends as well. Go up the hill further. The yellow over there is the flowering centre. Need to come back and get that. This verbena is quite widespread through here, so we've tackled this area before for that weed, and so we'll be back again. A little bit of lantana there, easily pulled out. But here's a young fig, native fig trees. That's great to see. Cape gooseberry hasn't got its seeds on yet, so that's a good one to get now. Paspalum, the setaria, the weedy grass. We've got the remains of a Scotch thistle, not sure what happened to that. And as we move on up, occasionally we've got a really big bare patch in here with asparagus weed over there. Lots of Farmers Friends. A lot of treatment by the contractor. In fact, they would have poisoned a lot more weeds than just the guinea grass as they went through here. You can tell the guinea grass from others because this was its seed head. All looking very sick now, which is what we want. More setaria. Nice little banks here. And I haven't seen it yet, but I know there is broadleaf paspalum through here, and the contractors were asked to spray that. The remains of a Formosa lily. Beautiful flower of the lantana here, so there's something to come back and get along with this Cape gooseberry. In fact, Formosa lilies all through here that have been, their heads have been broken off by the contractors, I assume, and also poisoned. Moving on up, we come to this one here. This is red Natal grass, another beautiful South African import, but a weedy grass in this area. There's a fair bit of that actually. It's annoying. Still seeing little bits of native raspberry. Come across some white passion fruit there we need to get rid of. Moving across, this Natal grass is quite extensive. Not sure about that. Might need another spray run. Healthy little brainia down here. Explained before that its leaves are alternate as you go up the stem, as opposed to the weedy centre, which is opposite. A bit of yellow of centre over there. Just down in there is a whole patch of yellowing broadleaf paspalum. So indeed the contractors have attacked that. The large leaves there are tobacco bush, and unfortunately a healthy looking Formosa lily just there. got a small group coming out tomorrow. I might just walk up here and get all those stray ones that I've spotted today. Move up here. Evidence of bitter bush over there being sprayed, and a bit of lantana here. Down here we've got amongst the rocks public enemy number one, or what started the whole group out, is this mother of millions. Each of those arms covering an enormous amount of seeds. Down here, showed in the previous video the wavy leaves of an ochna. Here's an ochna here that's been cut off and glyphosate used on it, surrounded by Setaria, so it's not a very nice patch at all. And this is what happens. It just forms this really dense growth next to the ground. Bit of lantana there, passion fruit. So it's still thermida here. So if we keep the weeds down, we can win the battle. Some other native grasses as well. Lantana, bitu, passion fruit with a fruit on it. Come back and get that. So this is the area least worked by our group, and given that we've got the zone A and zone B kind of under control, we'll move on up this hill and attack all these things. So this ochna is here. And here it gets a red berry, red and black, sometimes called Mickey Mouse plant. There's a centre just here. And this is a challenging area because where it's rocky and dirty, the weeds, and exposed, you get a real weed patch. And here we have the Cape gooseberry, more ochna. Ah, look at this mother of millions. Lordy. Tobacco plants up through here. And a big senna. This is what the contractors were saying. There were quite some large sennas up here. Probably it's almost certainly paspalum there and lantana. So work to do up here. Let's see how far we can keep going up through here. It's getting quite thick. Of course, one of the things the Big Nobby Bush Care group does is put insect repellent on. Why I didn't do that this morning is a question that could be asked. I've kind of got quite a thicket in here that I'm going to push through. And come to an area that the contractors have sprayed before, and both contractors and Big Nobby people have smashed down it. We're just pushing up through this stuff to get up to the track. Over here we see a senna that's been treated and its seed pods. You can see it's got a lot, and that's why there's a lot of senna have withered away, which is a great thing to see. Still, we've got native grasses and ochna in there, but if we clear all these weeds away, the native grasses can take over. And more Formosa, lily, bitu, clearly been treated. So the contractors did not do Cape gooseberry. And here's some very mature fleabanes we've failed to get rid of. Tobacco plants, the flowering centre. And I feel like I'm up near the top of the track. Farmers' friends, a lot of thermida through here. Great reason to keep going at this. And another barrier with, I think I've ended up where I was the other day with the passion fruit and the... Anyway, we're almost at the track. I'm going to push through today. See what happens. So if I don't return home, you know where I am. View. And here I am at the track. So, at the top of Zone C, a lot of work to do. But here's some guinea grass that's been poisoned. See that head again? So that gives you an idea of work to be done in Zone C, and that'll be our focus in the coming years. I'm on the top track now, and this is, wow, it's a pretty horrible place. A lot of the weeds I've already shown, but there's one here I showed earlier in the video, a desmodium, a 3-leaved vine. I think this one's called silver, is it silver spined or silver desmodium? It's actually a weed, and it's really quite sticky, so it actually catches a lot of animals. It's good to see there's a patch of it here, so we know where it is. We can come back and get rid of it. Way back down the hill, I found this little now. I mentioned before that if they're really small, you can perhaps pull them out. I'm not even going to worry about trying to pull this one out. I want to make sure I get it. It's got this centre right next to it, so I can just pull that one out. Get rid of it. Got my poison ready. I'm going to scrape all the bark off. Down around the ground level. All around. And snap it off. Hopefully before it knows it's being attacked. Apply the Blue Vigilant.